Hey guys, Harrison here, along with two cats. In this video, I'm going to give you all of these strategies, placements, and powers you can use to win on the new graveyard map in the Roblox game Super Golf. This is not going to be a video of trick shots, speed runs, or hole-in-ones. Although many of these strategies can be used to get a hole-in-one, honestly, it takes a ton of luck as well as skill to get those. So I decided to make a video showing you how to get very low scores on all of the holes to ensure that you can win every single time you play on this course. In my opinion, the single most important aspect of this game is placement. Where your ball actually hits the wall matters so much that if you're even a millimeter off from where you're trying to hit, you're going to get a drastically different result. So just try and be patient with yourself. If you follow my directions and then practice in a VIP server, which is free as of recording this video, I guarantee that you're going to win every single game you play on this map, or I will give you one of my cats. First up, I want to tell you that I made a cheat sheet telling me what angle to hit the ball at and what power to use. So if you want that, go ahead and join my Discord server and message me and I can send it your way. You can join at discord.gg/JustHarrisonThings. Alrighty then, starting off with hole number 1. What I'm trying to do here is hit the ball right over the middle of this dark square in front of me. See where my arrow is? Put yours right there and use 72 power. If the shot doesn't go in, it'll put you right next to the hole for an easy birdie tap in. On to hole number 2. The first thing I do is aim my arrow directly over this cross pattern. That's what I call the area where two light green and two dark green squares meet. It makes an X on the ground, and I'm going to use that X to start my alignment. Once my arrow is directly over the X, I simply bump my mouse 3 times to the left. And actually, it looks like I move it a little more left after I zoom out here. I'm trying to hit this back angle right about here. This is what I call the 3/4 side. I break up the angles in this game like this so that it's easier for me to tell myself where to put the ball. It doesn't matter if the angle is on my right or my left. The closer side will always be 1/4, the middle is 1/2, and the farther side is 3/4. So aim for that spot, set the power to 82, and let her rip. Super close again. Now set the power to about 15 to tap it in. I used 10, but that almost isn't enough, so I'd say go ahead and use 15 at this distance. And check this out. After 2 holes, I'm tied for first with only 4 strokes. Now hole number 3 can be tricky because it's the first hole to have a ghost bridge. Aim for this second cross pattern here, set your power to 66, and let her rip. Okay, so here I end up pretty far away from the hole. From this distance, you want to use something like 30 to be sure you don't leave the putt short. And it looks like it almost went over with 30, so if you're in this spot, try something closer to 27. As we go into hole number 4, there's only 2 of us tied for first place. First thing I'm going to do for alignment is put my arrow directly over this cross pattern in front of me. Then I bump it to the left about 1.5 times. I'm trying to get it to hit back in this 3/4 area of the angle. The power here is easy, just set it to 100 and let it go. Many times I've gotten a hole-in-one with this shot, but not this time. If you're in this spot, just tap it in with a nice easy 11 to secure that eagle. And as you can see from the scoreboard, it's on this hole that I officially take the lead. And let me tell you a secret, I never give it up. Hole 5 is interesting. I've hit it exactly like I'm gonna hit it here and missed. And I've also gotten a hole-in-one, so I really don't know what makes the difference. You spawn on top of this line. Go ahead and angle your arrow just barely, and I mean just a little bit barely to the left side of this line. Use 91 for the power, and you could possibly get a hole-in-one. For hole 6, aim your arrow at the cross pattern just next to the edge of this wall on your right. Move the arrow just a tiny bit to the left, and use 45 for the power. That'll give you a nice, easy tap in. And even though a couple of people made hole-in-ones here, I'm able to hold on to my lead. Now you have to understand, Hole number 7 is my least favorite of this entire course. Just so you know, it took me about an hour of practice to reliably hit this shot. We're not going to go for a hole-in-one here. We're simply trying to get the ball to the hole with the least amount of strokes. We're going to start by putting the arrow just to the left of this dark green square here and using 57 for the power. This is the best setup I've been able to come up with for starting this hole, and if you did that right, you should be about where I am. I know there's a way to hit the ball into the hole from here, I just haven't figured it out yet. So whenever you land in this area, start by pointing your arrow straight over the bridge and then turn it to the left like I do. Remember, the victory here is just getting the ball close enough to the hole to tap it in on the next shot. You do not want to get pushed off the bridge by the ghosts. Set the power to 51 and that should get you near the hole, if not right in it. It left me with a nice easy shot to secure that eagle. On this hole, I have to admit that I kind of mess up. I should have been aiming for this cross pattern here, but instead I was aiming for this one. What you want to do is aim here and move the arrow slightly to the right so that it's just about pointing at the middle of this dark green square. Then use power 81 and you should be right next to the hole. For me on this shot, I was just trying to get it close to the hole. I didn't expect it to go in, even though it almost does. So I messed up there. It should have only taken me 2 shots, but I did it in 3. But because of how consistently I've been getting low scores, I'm still ahead by 2 strokes. I haven't quite figured out how to get the hole-in-one guarantee on this hole, but I can get very, very close. What I'm aiming for here is the far right corner of the 5th dark green square. So starting from my left against the wall, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Aim for this spot right here. Set the power to 62, and if the ball doesn't go in the hole, you're going to be right next to it so that you can secure your first albatross of the game. Now, hole number 10 is actually one where I get a condor almost every single time I play it. Aim for just about the 1/4 area of this angle and use max power. This will put you in the perfect position to hit the next angle and see the drawbridge. What you're aiming for on this next angle is the halfway point, so right in the middle. Once you're lined up on that, set your power to 75 and then watch this obstacle here. You want to let the ball rip when it's as flat as possible. Of course, here the stupid ball gets stuck up on this tiny little area, and I didn't get the condor, but I promise you it's very possible and very easy on this hole. And look at this, I actually pull ahead by 5 strokes. Now, hole number 11 is one I've seen people get a hole-in-one on. I almost do it every time I play, so let me show you what I do. Aim for this spot on the wall. I call it the 1/4 area of the light green square. Crank the power all the way to 100 and angle your camera so you can see both the swinging axe and the buzzsaw further down the track. Once they're lined up and both moving out of the way, hit the ball. As you can see, I get super close here. That's always how it happens. If you end up in this spot, use about a 15 for an easy birdie. Now, this is an interesting hole. I watched another super golf YouTuber by the name of Game Roof, and he had a really nice setup for this hole that I couldn't remember, so I tried to guess at where he aimed the ball, but I was a little off. So I recommend going and watching some of his videos if you want to see how to hit hole-in-ones. I'll put a link to his channel in the description below. Anyway, aim about where I'm aiming and use 88 for the power, and it'll go right in, basically. What's weird about this is that the ball bounces off of an invisible wall. This is not an ideal location, but because I'm a boss at this game, I still end up with an albatross. And on that hole, I go up by 2 more strokes to give myself an 8-stroke lead. Hole 13 is super easy. I actually found out how to do this from one of the comments on Game Roof's video about this course. Point your arrow directly at the hole and use 88 for the power. Bam! Hole-in-one. All right, hole 14 can be tricky, but try this strategy. Aim straight in front of you when you start, then move your arrow just barely to the left. You're trying to hit between the 3/4 area and the very left edge of this angle. Crank the power to 100 and let it fly. If the tombstone is feeling kind, it'll let you pass. If you're where I am, line it up straight at the hole and use a nice healthy 23 to bag that eagle. Astonishingly, I'm now up by 11 strokes. Okay, now hole 15 can look intimidating, but it's actually pretty easy to get a condor or an albatross. You want to start off by getting the ball just close enough to one of the turning obstacles that it gets bumped in front of this tree in this area here. I like aiming just to the left of this wooden edge right about here and using 33 for the power. Watch what this does. So that's perfect. Now this next part I haven't quite figured out yet. I feel like the best thing you can do here is pray. I typically just aim to the right of this tree somewhere in this area, crank the power to 100 and see what happens. Hey, here we go. It's surprising, but somehow it always tends to work out like that. Now, if I was better at this game, I'd be able to easily bounce the ball off this angle and into the hole for the condor. Unfortunately, I suck, and I just don't give it enough power. I went with 32, but if I'd gone with 34, it definitely would have gone in. So once again, I bring home the albatross. Play hole number 16 like this, and it's a guaranteed hole in 2. You see this back area on the right where the track is? Aim at that just over to the right side of this ramp and use max power. It'll get back there every time and then softly roll down to the bottom of the hill. Every single time I play this hole, the ball ends up right about here. I like to use 35 for the power because I know it'll get across that open area, but won't be so fast that the ball will bounce over the hole. Okay, next to last, hole number 17. I like to aim right at the very left edge of this angle and use 100. I haven't quite figured out how to get a hole in one on this course yet, but this seems to get me really close. From here, you can just tap the ball in with a 10 or 15 for the birdie. Now we're going into the last hole, and I have a 12-stroke lead. Try to hit this angle here anywhere between the 1/2 and 3/4 marks. Use 100 for the power, and you should be good to go. I got a little cocky here and aimed the ball a little too much right, so I end up getting stuck. That usually doesn't happen. And of course, I don't use enough power to clear the jump, but I have such a big lead, it doesn't matter. And this is where I typically end up after my first shot. What you want to do here is aim the ball so that it's not going to hit this left wall, but it's just going to kind of be moving left when it hits the half pipe. 85 for the power seems to work the best just to lay it up there. And now you have a nice easy putt to finish the game and claim the victory royale. You can see I actually win by 14 strokes, so it wasn't even close. If you can learn what I'm teaching in this video, save it for a reference and play like this consistently, I'm confident that you can beat anyone on the Super Golf Graveyard course. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please smash that like button with your forehead. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button with your big toe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my amazing upcoming content. Once again, you can join my Discord server at discord.gg/JustHarrisonThings. Take care, be safe, and never forget what I always say. Peace.